So we're looking at creating a bar or column chart as the practice for chapter 9.2 in the VLE spreadsheet task. And for this task, we're going to create a bar or column chart, and the chart is going to show the total for month for each month. And the question itself tells us what we're going to select. We're going to select the total for month column, and we're going to select the month column. So we're going to go to step 1. I've opened my file, open my work through basic Excel file. And then step 2 says to remove any filters on your data table. So I can do that by either going through and selecting them individually and clear filter from month like that. And that brings back January and October. And do that. Or I could also just take off all the filters by just clicking on the filter icon there, or clear there, which will remove all of them. So I'm going to do that. I've now got no filters active. You can see I don't have a filter icon on any of these, and I'm now seeing all the data, including the values less than 6,000 and all the months. So I now want to look at step 3, which says filter your table so that it shows only months, so months, where the total for month is 6,000 or more. So I can do that. This is what we did in the previous step, and just go through and select ones that I don't want to see. So I'm only seeing the ones that are over 6,000 now. And that again reduces it down like that. And we're going to create a new chart based on the question. Now in section 9.1 it went through this, but I'll do it on video to just make it a little bit easier for people. So I've got a big thing here. It says create a new chart based on the question. To create a chart we need to know two things at least. We need to know which column has the text that describes what the values are. So in this one we wanted month, and that's the text values. So this is the bit of the table that's going to tell you what the bars or columns are. And then we need at least one set of values. And this one, it tells us that we want the total for month. So we want the total for month. If there's no gap between the number and the title, we can include the title. If there's a gap, we just select the data like that. Otherwise, we're going to include that. If you're selecting more than one column of data, you must include the title. Okay, so we've got our total for month. Now, if I try to select the month, it's going to do that. It will remove the selection there. So we have to hold down the control key. That's CTRL. So we select our first bit. It doesn't matter which way around you do it. And then hold down the control key. Click with the mouse button and select the second bit. Let go of the mouse button. Let go of the control key. And we must make sure that we've got the same number of rows selected. So I've got one row for April, one for September, one for January, one for October, one for June, one for August, and I've got a title. If I don't have the same number of rows here, it's going to cause problems, because April is going to represent the bar or column that's got 15,000 in it, and so on. So I've selected the data I need. Now I want to insert a chart, so I go to Insert. And I know which chart I want to do because it tells me to do a bar chart, but in the exam question it might, for example, it might say create a pie chart, in which case we'll be creating a pie chart. It might not tell you to create a pie chart, but it might ask you to create a chart showing the totals as a percentage. If it does that, you will also be doing a pie chart. So the general rule is if it asks for a pie chart or asks for a chart showing percentages, then you're going to do a pie chart. Otherwise, you're going to do a bar chart or column chart. In this case, we want to do a bar chart or a column chart. I'm going to select a column chart. That's a column chart. That's a bar chart. So as you can see, because of the numbers at the bottom, they overlap and it doesn't look very good. But if I do it this way around, it actually looks a lot nicer. I tend to use column charts rather than bar charts, if I'm honest. So I'll select that, just click on that. I'm not using any of these sort of things. I don't need to use those. We don't get any extra marks for those. So we can see my chart has a title, it has the values, and it has a month column for each month. So looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I want to put this on a separate sheet, which is what it tells me to do in step 5. It says move the chart to a new sheet. Don't cut and paste it, using the move chart command and giving your new sheet a meaningful name. So to do that, when we first create the chart, there's an option at the top here that says move chart, and that's on the chart design menu option. We've got the move chart there. Alternatively, we can just right click. You might need to click twice. Right click on an empty area at the top of the chart there, and you'll see there's a move chart option there, and it does the same thing as this one up here. So we've got two options. This option here basically just cuts and pastes it into a different sheet. We don't want to use that. We want to use a new sheet, and it's going to create what's called a chart sheet, which is a different type of worksheet in your workbook. We're going to give it a meaningful name, so I'm going to call it total for month chart. That's all I need, something like that. There is a limit on how much you can write in here, so when I click on OK, what it'll do is it'll create a new chart, a new tab down here. So I've got another sheet. I've got my original sheet there, another random sheet that's in there, and in this total for month chart. But you notice this one has grids. This one doesn't have any grids, and it makes the chart fill the page. It's much easier to work on like this as well. So I would recommend you move your chart first before you add in titles and axis titles and things like that. So step 6 says give your chart a suitable axis title. The axis titles are the bits that go down the side here and tell us what these values are, and at the bottom tells us what these are. So to add as axis tiles, we just go to our chart elements, which on yours may just be a plus mark here, and there's an option there to add axis tiles. When I click on that, you'll see it puts axis tile, axis tile. So let's give your chart a suitable axis tile. So axis tiles. So these are the totals. So I'm going to put total for month. And remember at the beginning I said the question tells you what to put here. So total for month. And we wanted to show the total for months for each month. So month. So we've now got axis titles that describe what these numbers mean. Sometimes, because the text is the same as these, it sometimes blends in a bit with the text. So what I always do is just select the axis tile. I only need to click on it once. I don't need to go in and edit the text. Just select the axis tile. Go back to my home tab. And then I can just change the size. I usually bump this up a couple of sizes. Click on the increase font size twice. I make it bold and italic. And I'll do the same for that. So click twice, bold, italic. And then I'm going to do the same with this. Twice, bold, italic, but I'm going to add an underline so it looks like a page tile. So the question said to create a total for month for each month. So I can just use that as my each month. Now you notice it's put capitals there. It uses weird capitalization. It's called camel case for the title. I'm going to change that so it's consistent. So we've got just a capital at the beginning and the rest of the words are all lowercase. Obviously, if there was a name of a business in there or something like that, we would have to put capitals in. But for now, we're just going to do that. Okay, so I've given my chart suitable axis tiles. I've given it a suitable chart title, which is step 7. And we formatted the tiles so they stand out and are suitable. That's step 8. And then the final thing we need to do is to save our chart. So I'm going to save as, and I'm calling mine step 9 because I'm using it as part of the tutorial. So, and that's how you complete step 9 in the spreadsheet task.